Hi Shri, welcome back. I'm really excited to host you again, and it's been a few days that we have not spoken about this topic, and people have been asking questions about lead generation. And I thought if we could spend some time on this topic today. I know it's a vast topic. We might not be able to cover everything, but Shri, if you have few methods which you have used in the industry and some of your favorite, maybe we can start with that, but I am sure there are so many of them listed today. I would like to know personally also as a sales guy, each one of them is very exciting for me, so I'm looking forward to hear from you, understand all those methods. But Sri, why don't you talk about some of your methods or favorite way of generating leads?
Wonderful. Thank you, Bhomesh. Thank you for having me today, and happy to, dwell a little bit deeper into what I call as how do you create highly qualified business leads in our B2B IT services industry, be it in IT services and information systems, as well as in the product engineering space. All right. In my, just to give a little bit background, in my professional experience for the last 30 odd years, I typically, found out or figured out there are 10 or 11 ways to create highly qualified leads. Yeah. Now, not all of them are, equally applicable for every strata of companies out there, from, let's say, from startup to small size company to mid-tier to large system integrators. Okay, each one follows among this 11 what I say as a qualified lead generation methods. So each one of them follow certain number of those lead generation approaches. Yeah. So just to name those 11, I don't want to, I'll wait for your questions to ask. The first one, what I call as a very, very rudimental approach is called telesales, or what many companies calls it as inside sales. Yeah. The second one is campaigns and digital marketing. The campaigns. Typically, this works more for platforms and products, not so much for IT services these days. Third one is advisory activities. You are interacting with the various advisory firms out there in the market who are deal makers. The fourth one is analyst interaction. There are a lot of analysts, like a Gartner or a Forrester. You name it. There are different categories. There are different types of Everest. There are different advice. So analyst companies out there, and you are interacting with that. The fifth one is CXO Connect. Your own company's CXO, and he or she have network in the industry because they meet so many people. Okay, and that is to me, there's a highly qualified connects. Yeah. The sixth one is events participation. There are various trade events that happens out there. So participate in those events. It helps you get qualified leads. The seventh one is webinars, lunch and learn, breakfast and learn. There are various ways to call some few industry people and give them a small talk, and while you provide a food and drinks. Yeah. The eighth one is referrals. Referral is a very standard one, like inside sales. Okay, anybody says, okay, I know so and so company and they're good at it, and they're referring to some prospective customers, and you get that. It is also a very highly qualified lead generation method. Yeah. The ninth one is working through lead finders and retainer agents, what you call. Okay, it has its own success or failure, whatever it is, but I think that is also widely used method in terms of finding the qualified leads through the retainers or agents or lead finders. The 10th one is basically, if you are a member of a certain standards body, okay, say for example IEEE, or let's say you are an AUTOSAR, okay, you are a part of AUTOSAR member, okay, that means you are in a closed club, okay, and automatically you get a reference, so highly qualified reference through those standards bodies. Of course, the last but not least is the individual connects. People who carry their own Rolodex. Okay, that is also very important source of leads. These are the 11, the broad categories of approaches companies follow, or successful salespeople follow, juggling these methods, trying to get highly qualified leads. Yeah, just as a brief.
Oh, thank you. I am sure we can't cover all of them. We can't talk
Yeah.
about all of them today. As a sales guy, I have used some of them. Some of the common methods probably I have used, but I'm very excited about few of them. And in fact, to my some of my audience, like me, they might not even be aware of some of these terms which you just mentioned. So I'm really excited about knowing some of them. Maybe we can start with advisory activities. I wasn't sure so much how it works actually.
So it's this one works more in the consulting and IT services side of business. I wouldn't say it works more on the product engineering space, yeah, or VLS space. And typically on the IT services, there are large deals. It's very common practice for the clients. Typically, they hire a consulting firm to manage that whole outsourcing process. Okay, those are the what is called it's advisory services. Okay, you take all the big companies, including there are independent advisory firms like ISG, or previously it was called as a TPI. Now, in last few years, they merged some few entities and become what called the information services group. They're a big one. Or similarly, you go to all the top 5 consulting firms, or talk about the audit firms. The PwC or KPMG and Ernst & Young. All of them have a separate advisory group. Similarly, go to McKinsey and all the other big consulting houses. They also have an advisory group because they actually sit along with the client in formulating the whole outsourcing process. So they exactly advise the clients, okay, who are the vendors to call, okay. So if you have a very robust interactions with such advisory firms, it's very likely chance that you get a call, okay. That means you got to demonstrate your capabilities, yeah. Get those advisory firms, tick all the boxes, okay. Make sure that most of the boxes are ticked in your favor. Then you get a call to participate in the bid. Okay, so that is something which is used especially for all the large deals. When IT service company pursue, you go through that.
Okay, great. I think something related again was not a known method to most of the sales guys. In fact, when I started, I was not aware of analyst interactions. I personally feel, because I have mostly with startups, work with very few big corporates. I think I was never exposed to this side of sales, whatever lead generations part, analyst interactions.
Yeah. So analyst interaction again is part of what I call the ecosystem play. Okay, in a services industry, it's important that you as a company, you got to keep your interactions with the various analysts out there. The famous one, in the IT service side, talk about Gartner, or you go to Forrester, or you go to Everest. Okay, there are many of them are there. Yeah. So your regular interactions with them, and sometimes you possibly subscribe to their services as well, so that you participate in their, let's say Gartner has a famous magic quadrant, so in any of the service lines you have, if you can put yourself in the magic quadrant, that itself gets a huge advertisement, all right? And being part of an analyst in interactions, you also get invited by those analysts to be part of their annual summit and various things, where again, it's a very close club, okay? It's an opportunity to create a highly qualified leads through those event participation with the analyst. Yeah. So, there's a multiple things in play here. One is being part of a various, like what I'm just giving a very famous example of a Gartner. Gartner has Gartner's magic quadrant. Yeah. So you put yourself in the magic quadrant, and then, that gives you advertise for you. And that itself is a good source of getting leads. You get calls. Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm sure this CXO Connect was sounded like a generic term to me, but I don't think so. As a sales guy, I could understand it well, because I thought CXO Connect means I will connect with CXOs and try to get a business. But from your perspective, I think it was very different. So I'm sure most of the people would like to know how this exactly will work.
This one actually, okay, this one works for every startup of service provider out there, okay? From a startup to a large company. They use this method very, very extensively, because, even if it's a startup companies, their founder, okay, they will be there, visit or attending various forums or various industry bodies where they get to connected with the other companies, potential clients, yeah, their CXOs also participating, okay. That is a good source of collecting a qualified leads, okay. Through that, a sales guy can leverage using the CXO name, get an audience with those potential target CXO at the client companies, okay. This is used, I mean, this one method is used very extensively all over the world at every state of the company, from startup to large companies.
So basically what you mean is that use the network of your top management.
Yeah.
Because they might not have time to pursue those customers, and especially the CXOs who are not in sales role or customer facing roles.
Yeah.
They might not be pursuing sales as a subject. So let's say a CFO or a CTO, their connects are very strong in the industry because they probably have worked for many years, and they end up meeting all these influencers on various meetings. So they might not pursue as a customer, but because they know these customers, you can use their name and say,
Yeah.
you know what, I work for this company, and our CXO has met you at this place, and he asked me to get in touch with you, and that itself can get you a meeting. So now I understand the meaning of CXO Connect, which
Yeah. Yeah.
I could not. I think I was misunderstanding when I heard CXO Connect. So okay, so another thing was I probably understood it very late in my career. Maybe first 5 years of my sales career, I did not understand how this trade and standard bodies membership you were talking about.
Yeah.
I thought this is for just show off. It does not get you business really. I thought it was more for marketing.
Oh, absolutely. No, these are standards bodies. If you are, again, I think when you talk about standards bodies, it works more for typical in the VLSI or product engineer space. If you are a member of, say, for example, AutoSAR, that is an automotive, the one standards body for all the connected computing that goes into automobile. Yeah. If you are a member of AutoSAR, there's various levels of AutoSAR membership, both for service providers, technology providers, and OEMs, everybody. So if you're a member, then again, you are part of a highly selected group of members, okay? And it's easy to get in a reference, okay? Because you get invited easily because you're a member, okay? You basically qualified being a member. Not everybody gets a membership there. It's like you already bought a ticket to be in the show, yeah? So it works very well. I'm just going to use an example. Similarly, if you are a member of IEEE, okay, so IEEE has various other standard boards within that, whether it's the Wi-Fi or whether it is the whole RF standards, you name it, everything. Okay, there is standard bodies. And if you are a member of the standard bodies, either a contributing member or you just a technology a member, you are part of that close group. Okay, you get invite. Okay, that is I'm talking about the technology side. Similarly, you can get into IT services side as well. Which is various standard bodies. Okay, if you are a member there, you get an invite.
Okay, great. So I think I understood most of them now. I think events participation is one more which I think even personally I would have made use of. Mostly people don't know how to make use of it. So if
I think event participation is very, very important because again, it is one of the best method to create highly qualified leads. Because again, it is again a closed group. There are so many events happening. Okay, let's take in of telecom. The GSMA conducts an annual event called Mobile World Congress. Okay, MWC in Barcelona every year, sometime in February it happens. And it's one of the biggest events to bring all the telecom equipment vendors, service providers, system integrators, product vendors, everybody comes there together, okay? So you are again part of the big closed group, okay? Similarly, you go to, all the product vendors, whether the SAP or Oracle or even IBM has various products, okay? They have, annual events they create, big events, yeah? So you go there, all the, members or various companies who are users of those platforms come there. Okay, it's like a big fair. Yeah. Similarly, let's say another example of SOSOM. This is basically for BPM. Okay, business process management area. Okay, especially it's a SOSOM in the events are for all the CFOs who come there, and anybody who's actually focusing on the BPM space. Okay, that is the best place to catch hold of CFOs. Okay, like that. Okay, so all the these people have their annual event, they got a quarterly event, they got a particular continental, the North America, European, Asia Pacific events. So there are so many events that happens, and if you can participate at such events, it is the best source of creating qualified leads.
Great. So as we are running short of time, I would like to take few questions now.
Yep.
First question, which is coming, is the topic which we have not covered. Obviously, people will ask more about that. They are saying, what is your opinion on inside sales?
Inside sales is, which is to me the rudimentary approach. I wouldn't say it is the best way to create a qualified leads. But I can, having said that, so if you take the entire strata, the stratification of companies from a startup to small companies to mid-tier companies to large companies to big system integrators like an Accenture, as the size of the company goes up, you don't get to hear what is called as the inside sales. But if you talk about mid-tier, small companies, startups, I think it is a common thing you will find inside sales. There are two things, I always, again, you have to correlate that to, what is the percentage of your new business you generate? Because the inside sales actually caters to the new customers. Yeah. Yes. You bring on board and then how much revenue you generate. So obviously, smaller companies have to have bigger share of new business compared to big companies. Their share of the, becomes, as you see in my first series, you talked about, the big companies have, new business is 1% or less than 1% of the annual revenue is a new business. The rest is all existing business. Yeah. So that means you don't find the big companies adopting the so-called inside sales, but it's quite common for the smaller company. Two things. One is it's inexpensive comparatively compared to any other method, by the way. And so obviously one is inclined to use the inside sales and see how it spreads the message. But I always tell people, if you have, 3, 4, 5 different approaches to find a qualified lead, to me, inside sales comes from the least preferred category. But I wouldn't say rule it out, don't use it. But I think its effectiveness is very limited.
Okay, so now obviously from this, the next question is coming. What is your favorite way of, getting a qualified lead? And from your experience, I'm sure you have 30 years of experience.
Again, comparing on both on IT services as well as in the product engineering space, I think 3, 4 of them, I would say. Certainly this advisory and analyst interactions, that is one of the best one. CXO Connect, I use the CXO Connect very extensively. It's very, very effective. Then comes, these standard bodies, trade and standard bodies. Trade is delegation visits, and then part of the standard bodies. There are two things, right? So, I would say both are independent, but standard bodies. It is, these are the 3, 4 of them. It's my most preferred one.
So personally, I feel that most of these.
No, I shouldn't forget about event participation. Event participation too. Sorry, that's one of my favorite too. Yeah.
I think as a sales guy, I would like to have a few more detailed sessions about these, because I personally did not use most of them in first 5 years. So I think I lost an opportunity to use these methods. I'm sure there are a lot of people on the call online right now who are watching us. They would want to know detailed methods out of especially these 3, 4 which you mentioned, because you didn't mention any of the normal stuff which most of the people are using, like cold calling. Just call customers, keep visiting them, keep calling them, ask for a meeting, keep sending them email, PPT, deck, right? So I think most of the sales guys are used to it, and they are sometimes overdoing it and irritating customers also.
Absolutely right. So I'm not like don't do it. It's sometimes you end up overdoing it. It'll irritate the customer. You don't get the call back at all. You are absolute. The smart salespeople, they juggle around using these 11 methods and see which is the most effective one. Not only that, they try and then move on because it doesn't work out. Don't keep bombarding the customer again and again with the same method. Okay, it's again as you said, it'll irritate the customer. So you change your tactic. You can use a different method and see how that works. Smart salespeople use all these methods in juggling around.
I wish I had all these, weapons in my pocket when I pursued customers in my sales.
These are toolboxes. Salesman carries toolbox. Okay, he or she have to have it in their toolbox.
Correct. So maybe I didn't have too many when I started my career. So I'm sure there are a lot of people who would want to know about it. I'm personally excited about three, four of them. I'm sure we will have to take probably a full session just for these topics. And I am sure there are ways to improve the traditional ones also. So I will look for your time to do a session on the traditional sales methods, because there is something to improvise there. What can be done better? And because 80%, 90% of the sales guys are using those methods today. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming we will need one more session on those traditional methods. So,
absolutely.
and I look forward to talk to you again. And thank you very much for your time. Really excited to talk to you every time.
Thank you, Bhomesh, and happy to help in whatever I can do with a little bit of wisdom what I generated in my professional career. Imparting on the people out there in the sales profession. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. It is not a little bit. It
Look
is
forward to.
not.
Yeah,
It is a lot for us, people like us. It is not. It could be a little bit for you, but for us, it can probably make a big difference in our career. Some of
yeah,
us probably will make a good sales guy if we learn these methods. So it could be career transforming for many of us. So thank you very much. I'll connect with you again.
absolutely. Thank you very much, Bhomesh.